ball, maybe played with their foods a little bit early in this one, but did they surge home? Lamar Jackson postgame with Amanda Balionis.
We started off with 67 points first half. Hopefully we dial it up at the beginning of the game, first half, and then finish the game even stronger. So we just got to keep working hard, getting practice, and do better.
Appreciate the time. Yeah.
All right, we knew they were going to come out hungry after. Back in studio with the guys, and the word resounding in my head in preparation for this game was response. We wanted to see the way the Ravens would respond to the game ending in week one. What did you make of the response and the levee breaking here in the second half?
Well, what the Ravens did, they took advantage of some short fields, because for the first 2.5 quarters of this game, Cleveland's defense looked like Cleveland's defense from week one, looked like Cleveland's defense from really the better part of the last 2-3 years under Jim Schwartz, because they were scoring from 24 out, 51 yards out, and then 5 yards out. So Lamar Jackson and that offense didn't have to do too much. And then they started to pour it on. But the one guy that I would highlight is DeAndre Hopkins, who I think when he signed with the Baltimore Ravens, it was like, all right, well, you got the corpse of DeAndre Hopkins going to Baltimore, and hopefully he can maybe stay healthy once they play January football. This is a guy who is making plays so far through the first 2 weeks, important plays for this Baltimore Ravens team. So should have won week one. Nice bounce back here, leaving no doubt against the foe.
Targeted twice, 2 receptions, and a touchdown. It hasn't been volume to D-Hop, but when his number is called, he has showed up through these first 2 games. Mac, the Ravens responded the way we expect them to against this Cleveland team, but sometimes when they play Cleveland, they're caught in a stalemate for longer than this.
No question. I mean, that's AFC North football. It's something about the Cleveland Browns, regardless of what their overall record may be. They play tough within the division. Just ask the Cincinnati Bengals, who were biting their teeth for 4 quarters. And this is the bright thing about this game in terms of how Baltimore won. JJ, you talked about how stagnant the offense was for Baltimore, but guess what? Their defense was not. They were balling, and they needed to have a get-right moment. This was a get-right moment playing against the Cleveland Browns and Joe Flacco because of what did not happen last week, and they played outstanding football. They forced turnovers. Heck, they even scored a touchdown, something they haven't done since 2020. So when you look at their defense with all the high-level players they have on all 3 levels, this is what we expect to see from the Baltimore Ravens, not the letdown that we saw in the second half last week against the Buffalo Bills.
And with the Baltimore Ravens, the Browns, you don't want to give this team bulletin board material. And that's what they gave them today, saying Derrick Henry was an easy tackle, saying nothing that the Baltimore secondary was going to do, Jared Jeudy, I'm speaking of, was going to do to hurt them as a receiver core. We needed to see this game for the Baltimore Ravens. They started out a little slow in the first half, because we all know what the Browns defense presents to the Baltimore Ravens. They know each other very well, but in the second quarter, they put it on them. And the quiet thing about it is Derrick Henry didn't even have a big day. 11 yards, 11 rushes, 23 yards, and they still found a way to put up 41 points.
41 to the Jets, a bad team just yet. This was a bad performance, however. My eyes on the Jets. We'll get to the Bills, immediately go to the quarterback. How do you explain, Pat, I'll go to you here, what we saw week one from Justin Fields and maybe the inefficiency we saw in week 2?
I don't know what it could have been, because it looked like they tried to implement the same game plan, roll them out. What probably happened, the running game wasn't as effective as it was last week. And as we know, Justin Fields, he has to have an efficient running game in order to open up the spaces behind the linebackers and being able to take those deep shots down the field. So the running game was not there today, and he looked pedestrian for the most part. So if the running game is not available for the New York Giants and being able to use the rollouts and boots and things like that, this is what you're going to get.
You know what? These are the things that we heard about Justin Fields throughout training camp. One bad day, one decent day. And that's the issue for him in terms of taking his game to another level, being consistent. Because what he did last week, with his skill set, his talent, that's what we expect to see week in and week out, more so up than down. And today he didn't even throw for 30 yards, 27, 29 yards to be exact per pass. And he left the game in the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, getting evaluated for a concussion.
For a concussion. He averaged 2.5 yards per throw. 2.5 yards per throw. That's not even a rushing goal for offenses. You want to run the football for more than 2.5 yards per run. So it's something about the consistency that has been missing, not just with Justin Fields, but the entire offense that led to a lopsided win in favor of the Buffalo Bills.
Do you think it was just him facing his old team? Pittsburgh had a lot of juices flowing?
Oh, I think that definitely played a part. I think he really was up. Not saying he wasn't up for this ball game, but I think the entire mantra in the locker room for the Jets was, let's do this for Justin. But you should have that mentality, and just my assumption, every ball game.
Pretend like you play for whoever's across from you here, and we do have some sound coming in from the final in this one. Again, a dominant performance for the Buffalo Bills, 30-10 your final. The quarterback with Tracy Wolfson postgame. MetLife, we're pleased to take you back out to the site where the lead analyst of the NFL on CBS, Tony Romo, joins us now. Tony, the result here may be representative of the different echelons these two teams currently occupy. What did you make of specifically Buffalo's performance today?
Well, I thought they systematically came out and did what they really wanted to, which was to impose their will, and they just made the game simple. And they didn't ask Josh Allen to be a hero. Some games you need him, but this is the sign of a really good football team where they could just go right downhill and say, we're just a little bit better than you guys are right now, and really a lot better today. And I thought for the concern, the emotional letdown from the Bills side after that big win, it actually looked the other way, where the Jets almost had that little emotional letdown.
Some of the groupthink throughout the week, maybe the nitpick, the thread you're going to pull at if you're going to pull at one in Buffalo is it says Josh in bold at the top of that call sheet maybe a little too often. The fact that the personnel group goes out there and performs the way they did. What do you make of this two deep as you have it in front of you here for the Buffalo Bills this season?
I just think they got depth, and I think they did a great job in the offseason of getting their team to handle, because some of the injuries that have affected them in the past where I think I was impressed, even though they gave up a ton of yards to the Ravens, they had the ability to stay with, some of the receivers. They got more speed. The depth up front is going to serve them really well. If Joey Bosa stays healthy, this is going to be a very tough team to beat come playoff time.
Maybe a olive branch to the team in green if we can find one. I'm not sure if that's the direction we take it, but week one we saw a Justin Fields ceiling that maybe we hoped for, and here in week two obviously ends in injury, but
yeah,
we maybe saw the floor. How do you explain the relationship between that ceiling and floor right now for the quarterback?
Well, you want to see consistency, so you want to see last week's performance at least have some more of that. I think today it's a tough one because the challenge is this defense does a great job disguising where to start with your eyes, and I think, but give the Bills credit. They literally had a great plan. Some of the corner blitzes on early downs put them behind the chains where they became one-dimensional, and that's not the recipe for success for them. But you just got to see it a little bit more tighter. You missed too many throws that were open today.
Wasn't the most exciting game in the world, but Tony, you told me a couple weeks ago as we sat down, you found the joy in it all, and joy here in a moment for Jim Nantz, 40 years in the booth. You give him our best as well.
You got it, buddy. It was great. He's the best.
Tony Romo, Jim Nantz, and Tracy Wolfson, the A-team, taking us through another one here, and it's a dominant Buffalo Bills performance in this one. James Cook, not necessarily getting to those Josh Jacobs numbers just yet, but consecutive games with a rushing touchdown. Cook, now 6 and counting, comprehensive effort here on the road from the Bills, who improved to 2-0.